Hi, my name is Michael Ogechi Abbey, and I am the owner of Enterprise Express Tax Service located in Bowie, Maryland, in the Washington, D.C. metro area. I'm here today to talk about the Biden administration's newly enacted Inflation Reduction Act. This was passed on August 16th, and it's said to be a landmark congressional enactment or law, mostly because it's meant to target inflation. If anyone's been listening to the news recently, inflation has really almost run rampant. We have high gas prices, petrol prices. We have high prices at the food stores. And generally, people are beginning to notice that the cost of living index has risen quite substantially. Um, does this act actually solve the inflation issue? My take is probably not, because there are a lot of things that are there that are not necessarily inflation to do with inflation. Let's just put it that way. But there are some areas that are pretty significant that I want to highlight. So let's get started. The main thing here is this: the law. I'm looking at my notes. The law includes a 369 billion investment in climate and energy policy. So that, for one, tells you that one of the main thrusts of this new act is to attack climate and energy policies, meaning renewable energy is going to be one of the main focuses of this, as well as reduction in the United States reliance on fossil fuels, meaning petrol, gas, natural gas. One thing this does tell me is that there's probably going to be a lot more funding for projects that are in the renewable energy sector. And that's good. If you're in that sector as a small business, that probably means that there's going to be a lot more money flowing in that sector, and there will be a rejuvenation of business in those renewable energy sectors. The other thing is that 64 billion of this funding is going towards extending a policy under the Affordable Care Act, which otherwise was known as Obamacare, in order to reduce health insurance costs. Now, the main thrust of this is going towards drug prescriptions. When President Biden was campaigning, one of the linchpins of his campaign was the fact that drug prescription prices were extraordinarily high, especially for those who are under Medicare. And therefore, he did promise that this would be one of the areas that he would tackle in terms of making sure that these larger drug companies reduce their prices for drug prescriptions. It's easy to say that, but I think what the administration has realized that they almost have to offer a carrot and stick policy. In other words, give some incentive to these drug companies so that they can reduce these drug prices. It looks like that's what they're doing here by making available $64 billion as an incentive to give to these drug companies so that they can reduce the prices for drug prescriptions. This is quite important. There is a 15% corporate minimum tax aimed at companies who earn more than $1 billion a year. This is where I'm not so sure how effective this will be, because what you're doing is you're taxing companies that earn a lot of money by putting a 15% corporate minimum tax. However, the main issue has been that these companies have been able to take advantage of tax loopholes that are provided by the tax code. So how are you going to stop that? You could slap a minimum tax beyond 15%, maybe even up to 25%. It's not going to stop them from taking advantage of the tax loopholes that already exist in the existing tax code. So maybe what you really want to do is make amendments to the tax code so that they don't have that leeway to get out of paying taxes. So to me, that would be the solution. Maybe this is a multi-pronged way of attacking it, which might make sense. Who knows? But um, the package itself, the spending package itself, totals about $437 billion. It's expected to raise $737 billion in revenue over the next decade, with the biggest share coming from reduction in prices for Medicare recipients and tax hikes on corporations. So there you have a pretty good summary. One last bit, which I think is really important, is the fact that the IRS is getting $80 billion over the next 10 years that's supposed to go towards enforcement. A lot of people are thinking that this means that the average person is going to be audited willy-nilly. That's not what's happening. The IRS is saying that most of this money is going to go towards enforcement, targeting those companies and high net worth individuals who are not paying their fair share of taxes. All right. So I hope this gives a brief summary of the Biden Inflation Reduction Act. And, we'll be coming up with more stuff as time goes on. But if you have any questions, you need to contact us. Once again, my name is Michael Abbey with Enterprise Express Tax Service. Signing out. I'm wishing everybody a wonderful weekend.